Education in times of coronavirus. The pandemic caused by the coronavirus COVID-19 has undoubtedly caused an unprecedented crisis in all areas, social, economic, political, and above all in education at all the levels. With respect to the latter, it has generated a massive closures of face-to-face activities in educational institutions in more than 190 countries. This in order to reduce the risks of contagion and even deaths due to the disease in causes. The interruption of schooling has affected almost 1.3 billion students globally. This effect is evident in the social situation in the Latin America region. Today, there has been a serious deterioration in the levels of poverty and extreme poverty. Inequalities are becoming for acted as unemployment and precarious employments increase at an accelerated pace. These imbalances are notorious when comparing urban and rural areas. Some measures in the educational field that have emerged are related to the modality of class for all levels. This gives rise to three main fields of action. The deployment of distance learning modalities, mostly through the use of novel platforms with the use of technology, the support and mobilization of personnel in education communities, and comprehensive attention to students. These measures have been succeeded by UNESCO in order to mitigate the effects in the vitally important area of education. States are obligated to act quickly since they are guarantors and protectors of the right to education. They must implement strategies that allow the teaching and learning process to continue at home and in the workplace. Teachers have become key actors in this pandemic scenario and beyond. We prepare and training teachers in virtual teaching are able to articulate and give currency to the use of countless digital tools and platforms to educational programs via um, radio and television, among others. However, the problem of lack of cognitive and digital devices that are effective use of these tools persists. It is positive, therefore, that a greater equality in academic training might emerge. For their part, many elementary, secondary, and higher education institutions have rapidly transformed themselves into agents of educational transformation. They have innovated their resource and technology in a magazine amazing way in order to reach many students with being severely affected by the pandemic. But this is not enough. It requires the active participation of governments and international agencies to enable coordination educational actions with a strong focus on intersectorality food, health, security, and support. Likewise, effective coordination between the different levels of government is necessary, be it at the central, provincial, or municipal level. It is also vital to deeply and analyze the new post-school scenarios the world has take, taken, a new turn with new trends, new lifestyles, new pilots, and modalities of work and study. Education therefore becomes a preponderant factor in facing these changes. Educational situation in Ecuador. The situation in Ecuador is not good. The world's population is facing an emergency situation produced by the coronavirus or COVID-19 that was first reported in Wuhan, China, on December 2019. The pandemic highlights the urgent need for all countries to close their educational institutions to stop the outbreak from spreading, but that marks a significant gap in education. Education is a right of people throughout their lives and inescapable and inescapable duty of the Ecuadorian state. It is the priority area of public policy and states investment in warranted equity and social inclusion in and is indispensable conditional for good living. Based on our constitution on Ecuador, the Minister of Education, Montserrat Kramer, presented on Monday, March um, 16, the COVID-19 educational plan, which contains the guidance for members of the educational community to continue with educational activities while the health emergency declared in the country by the national governments last that. However, this national proposal of profoundly transformation and innovation in times of warranty access to education, but it is not equitable for all students. For this reason, this research analyzed the two education contexts, the private system and the fiscal system. In the face of the magnitude demanded by this new era of learning, the Minister of Telecommunications, Anders Michelena, revealed that around a million students of public and private education institutions do not have access to internet sites. The beginning of the sanitary emergency. According to the critical analysis, the problem lies in the fact that the closing of educational institutions at national level aggravates inequalities in the education and disproportionately affects the most vulnerable children and young people in our country. According to the different statements insighted by those in charge of education, it is determined that they are looking for strategies to reach the most remote areas of country through television, radio, and prime bulletins. The Ministry of Education facing this problem of inequality experienced by the families of the country tries through the guidelines and cited by the COVID-19 educational plan to maintain the continuity of the students' educational process with the development of emotional support activities, development of learning and adaptations to diversity in the context of the healthy emergency caused by coronavirus. This abrupt change in education that, due to the COVID-19 health emergency, reveals the significant gap of social inequality and leads to face several changes to the education actors. On the one hand, to change the mentality of a society accustomed to face-to-face and traditional classes, which are not appropriate for these times, and on the other hand, the main gain of education, children and young people, how much adapt and assimilate the change of the pedagogical model that is according to the new learn area. Although they are the so-called digital natives, they are not prepared to face this change in this entirety. It is necessary to include the adaptation process. Students who have not received in recent years schooled computer preparation because the educational reforms that have been if eliminate these subjects for the curriculum. And teachers during this time have faced the technological change and understand that technology platforms or resources are not the change, but the pedagogical approach and the interaction that must be created between teacher and student, how to let aside the important roles of fathers, mothers, or representatives who play a transcendental role in education because the acceptance of these new changes depends on them. Nothing is impossible. Beings are adaptable to the conditional and change presented by our society and our future education. Thank you very much.